All right, guys, so today in front of me from Sagamore Spirits, we have their 8-year, 5-month cognac cask finish. Now, this one is a blend of straight rye whiskeys, one of them being a 95.5, the other one being a 52-43.5. The first 4 years were aged in American white oak, followed then by 4 years and 5 months in a single French oak cognac barrel. That is actually 3 times the size of a normal barrel, and what that does, it allows for more time for some of those flavors to meld together. I'm very, very excited to review this one. I love a lot of what Sagamore does, especially with some of their finished rye whiskeys. Guys, so without further ado, let's go. All right, guys, so again, this is a blend of their straight rye whiskeys, aging for 8 years and 5 months. This one comes in at 105 proof. So let's go ahead and get into the nose. Yeah, so one of the first things I get, there's a lot of citrus. There's a lot of, there's some darker fruits in there. It's like some wine-soaked fruits. There's a little bit of blueberry in there, some little bit of some citrus in there, maybe some orange. There is this slight floral note to it a little bit further into the glass. Further away, you're picking up some of that sweetness from the fruit, and then further into the glass as well, along with that floral, is some of that like wine-soaked. It's like a wine-soaked blueberry, little bit of some oak in there as well. Further into the glass, yeah, a lot of sweetness. There's a lot of caramel, some rye spices, a little bit of vanilla there. Further away from the glass, but further in, you do pick up like this little bit of floral, and then just like these wine-soaked fruits. It's absolutely amazing on the nose. Like these blueberries, just kind of drenched in wine. And yeah, further into the glass too, you do pick up some of those like darker oak, a little bit of like some leather notes in there as well, kind of signifying that there's definitely some age to this. Yeah, it's just it's like this plum and blueberry just kind of soaked in some wine. Nice, just really dark kind of those spicy notes on it from that cognac barrel. Yeah, beautiful nose on this one. Let's get into the palate, guys. Cheers. That is ridiculously good. So some of those flavors that I was getting on the nose, I'm definitely picking up on the palate. That sweetness of that caramel, vanilla, that blueberry, right on the front of the palate. Middle of the palate, you start to pick up some of those rye, like the rye spices in it. Then as it goes down, you definitely get some of that like that wine influence, as well as some of those spices that continue to go down, some of the rye spices. And it's a medium to long finish, kind of on the long side. But yeah, as it goes down, like I said, those spices and that kind of that wine influence goes down with it. It's a great first sip, guys. Let's get to the next one. So that sip changed completely. It just went to this completely dark side of flavor. So that sweetness is still there, like vanilla, that caramel, some of those blueberries on the front of the palate. But now kind of sitting on the middle of the palate, I get this like this orange blossom, like citrus note, along with those rye spices. And this just dark honey sweetness that's just kind of sitting there on the middle of the palate. And then into the back now, again, you start, you pick up those rye spices still, but it's like this, there's definitely like a little bit of nuttiness in there too. And then just like these dark, like a caramelized, like raisin almost, like this dark fruit kind of sitting there right on the back of the palate, along with this like little bit of pepper there too, with those rye spices. And it just saturates your palate, the sides of your cheeks, and the top of my tongue with those that cognac influence. But what's nice about this too is it's not overly finished. Sometimes you would think, being aged for that long in a cognac barrel, that influence is going to just dominate the palate. And in this case, it definitely doesn't. It still allows for some of those rye flavors to kind of shine through there on the palate, but just these, just a ton of fruitiness. Like I said, some candied fruits, caramelized fruits, along here on the palates. This is an amazing pour right here. Let's get the last sip, guys. Cheers. Wow. Again, it's just consistently evolving on the palate. I'm just picking up flavors all over the place on this one. So again, on the front of the palate, you're still getting some of those blueberries, vanilla, some caramel. Into the middle of the palate, you get that kind of like that the orange blossom, the rye spices. A little bit of kind of like allspice in there. And that middle of the palate just kind of flows through into the back. And it's just like this like caramelized raisin, the sweetness, and then that dark punch that kind of gets you in the back. A little bit of plum in there. A little bit of black pepper there into the finish. It kind of lingers on with it. And then like right from the middle of the palate into the back too, kind of like that in between. It's almost like this, some of those like candied pecans that you can get from places. Yeah, it's just like a caramelized raisin, candied pecan, like a black pepper kind of flowing into the finish with some of those rye spices. A hint maybe of leather there in the back. This is an amazing release here from Sagamore Spirits. Just a ton of flavors. I was not expecting this much flavor to come from this. That cognac influence is definitely there, but is not overdone in any way. I think it enhanced some of the rye flavors that this one had to offer. I think it kind of just gave them that little bit of boost. So those rye flavors are definitely still there. That pepper, the rye spice there on the middle of the palate, some of those some of that citrus that shows up. But then again, that vanilla caramel sweetness on the front with some of those blueberries, that orange blossom there kind of sits there on the middle of the palate. And then to the finish, it's just like the entire flavor wheel is kind of just going on the mid to the back of the palate here. Again, that nuttiness is like one of those candied pecans, little hint of leather, that's caramelized raisin, this dark fruit that kind of sits there on the back of the palate, just continues to just go down and saturate the sides of your cheeks and the top of your tongue. Amazing release here from Sagamore Spirits. So I want to thank you guys for tuning into this episode of Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. I want to send a big thank you over to my friends at Sagamore Spirits for helping me secure this bottle here to review on the channel. Again, guys, as of right now, this may be one of the best finished whiskeys I've had this year, maybe in the last couple years. It's absolutely amazing. Just crazy flavors that just continuously evolve on the palate. Some of the notes that I picked up on the nose, I did pick up on the palate, but the nose was absolutely phenomenal. Just this dark side to it, and then on the palate, just like the entire flavor wheel, in this glass right here, just sweetness, the vanillas and caramels, some blueberries, some of that darker fruit. You get a little bit of leather, some rye spices, some citrus there on the sides of the palate, some black pepper into the finish. Really just continuously evolved sip after sip. This is something I'm going to dig into a little bit more later on this year to kind of see what this has to offer and where this thing is going to land in my top 10 for the year. I can tell you right now, this one is already in my top 10 whiskeys of the year. It's absolutely phenomenal. I did a fantastic job finishing this one in that 132-gallon cognac barrel. Just a amazing display, amazing masterpiece here on this bottle from Sagamore Spirits, guys. So if you're looking for more reviews like this, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, bell notification to be alerted of any upcoming reviews or live streams. You also find me on Instagram at Dusty Dan's Whiskey Reviews. And until next time, guys, stay dusty.